What is going on, everybody? It is Nelly B here, and I want to welcome you back to a brand new episode of NellyBTV. In today's episode, we're going to be going over my entire physical video game collection with a bit of a caveat. I think I have two 3DS games upstairs, but I can't find them right now, so we're just going through with this. Now, this one is supposed to be a bit longer than usual just because of how many games we're covering, but I am going to try and go a little bit fast because I have recorded this video a few times and the footage has corrupted, so I'm just ready to get this video out. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Starting off with the PS4 games, because that's what I have the most of, we're starting off with Call of Duty. And if you know anything about me and my history here on YouTube, then you'll know that I had a previous YouTube channel named Nelly B, where I exclusively talked about Call of Duty and more specifically the zombies experience. I'm not going to be talking about the campaigns here because all of these campaigns, with the exception of Infinite Warfare, surprisingly enough, they're just very forgettable. Multiplayer was very good when they were at their peak, but they've all kind of died off now, and you can find lobbies, but it's not the same. Zombies, though, at least for all of these in my perspective, has held up immensely. I know Advanced Warfare is probably people's least favorite. I can still find some enjoyment out of it, but it's not something that I can find myself playing for as long as Infinite Warfare, or especially Black Ops 3. And I say especially Black Ops 3 because this is one of my favorite Call of Duties, my second most favorite. Black Ops 3 is my favorite, and although I don't own that physically, I do plan on getting a PS3 with that, one of the first games with it. That will be added to the collection sometime later. I do have my eye on it, but these games peak Call of Duty Zombies, and they are necessary for my personal collection. I play all of these except for Advanced Warfare on PC a lot more just because they run better, they have better FOVs, and custom zombies. Black Ops 3 did get the fabled Zombies Chronicle DLC 5, which included a ton of maps from previous games, but for a lot of people it just wasn't enough, and those mods are free to use on PC, so you can pretty much play any map you want from any game, including ones that don't exist, like the Cheese Cube and whatnot. Solid game, and even though I don't play it on PlayStation anymore, it's a must-have for my physical collection. So, yeah, let's keep going. Next up is a heavyweight for me, and that is going to be Cyberpunk 2077, along with its DLC. I've got the PS4 version here, but I play on the PS5 version, and obviously, every conversation of this game has to include the launch. It was atrocious. People were refunded, and it was delisted for a while. However, CD Projekt Red came back, made updates, eventually got to 2.0, and that's when I picked it up. I do own it here on PlayStation. However, I played on PC, and I loved it. Maybe it's because I played around the same time that my son was born, so I would just take care of him, get back to playing this, take care of him, get back to playing this. It was a really great time for me, and it's almost nostalgic at this point for me, but I still haven't finished the DLC, and I do need to do that, and I do plan on making a video for this, hopefully sometime next year. I don't know, my schedule's pretty booked, and I don't know if I want to be playing too many games that I've already finished, even though I haven't completed the DLC. It's amazing. I might make an exception. Who knows? Moving on. Next up, we have Death Stranding. I gotta be frank, this is the only Kojima game that I have played for any substantial amount of time, and I haven't finished this one. I haven't put too much time into it, but it was $6. I had to pick it up. So I can't really explain this game all too much because I haven't played it a lot. I keep replaying the intro over and over again every few months because I'll come back to it like, oh yeah, I wanna, and then I'm like, oh, this is gonna take a while. And I stop. That is a real shame because this game is amazing. I can already tell. It's just, it seems like a tall order. There's a lot of walking. There is a lot of dialogue, a lot of cutscenes, and I'm a small brain gamer, so I need a lot of action, a lot of interactivity, especially at the start there. I am going to give this one a try, but I have to do it at a time where I find more patience in myself. That's not to say anything bad about the game. It's obviously a great game, got a sequel, massive hit, but it's not my type of game. At least not right now for the past couple of years. So it's on the backlog. Next up, we have Doom 2016. I think for any FPS fan, this game has to be in their collection, at least digitally, if not both digitally and physically. It came out back in 2016 and it blew the world's mind with how modern and retro it was at the same time, and it still holds up today. I think Doom Eternal is the definitive best Doom game in this modern trilogy. Doom the Dark Age doesn't really stand a chance against Doom Eternal, but it's pretty comparable to the original Doom here. There's a lot more going on in Dark Ages. There's a lot more lore. There's a lot more action. However, Doom still holds up in comparison, like 9 years before. So yeah, obvious, had to have it in here. And maybe we talk about all 3 Doom games at some time. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see that, and comment below. Next up, we have Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, yes, I bought this game last year in preparation for Veilguard. Never played a Dragon Age game, and technically still haven't. I waited to get to this game until Veilguard came out. I think I bought it like a week before. And then reviews started coming out for Veilguard, and I finally picked this up, and I don't like it. I probably haven't played enough to definitively say whether that is true or not, but just from the start, I'm not going to be playing this on PlayStation. I'm going to keep it in my collection. It is nice to have. It is cool to look at, and who knows, maybe I get Veilguard one day. I don't know why I would say that, but yeah, I'm definitely going to pick this up on PC. Definitely going to play the original 2 games. I think it's Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 or something. Definitely going to play those first, and probably not for a while, simply because they're big games and take a lot of attention to complete. So yeah, when I have time for these, I will definitely get to them, but not anytime soon. And that's mainly because of the failure of Veilguard. I usually don't like basing my purchase decisions or gameplay decisions off of reviews, but Veilguard was overwhelmingly a disappointment from every side of the aisle that I just couldn't ignore the red flags. There were too many. But Inquisition seems like a good time on a platform other than PlayStation. I will say that. Yeah, moving on, we have GTA Definitive Edition. Now, I played the original games earlier in my life. I can't say for sure when, and I can't say for sure how long, but I've definitely experienced these on original hardware. And this collection, Definitive Edition, it's not definitive. You've probably heard it before. This launched in a terrible state. It was originally is a port of mobile games from iOS and Android stores to consoles, and it's still kind of abysmal. There are 2 modes, performance and fidelity doesn't look like better at all. It just looks worse because of that lower frame rate. It supposedly adds ray tracing, but it also looks like there's ray tracing in performance mode, and I don't know why these simple games would need a fidelity. I mean, it kind of makes no sense. Like, this whole thing makes no sense. But I bought it for $30, so half off its original price last year, sometime around then, when GTA 6 hype was high. And yeah, I'm probably going to get to these. I will say specifically about the gameplay, there is a definitive upgrade coming from each game. So 3 is like, I don't know if I want to stay here much longer. And then you get into Vice City, and it's definitely an improvement, but there's still something missing. There's atmosphere, there's style, there's intention, but there's not a lot of it until you move to San Andreas, and that step is light years ahead in some ways to Vice City and 3. That I am most excited to get to that one. I'm probably going to speed through the first 2, and that's kind of a spoiler for a series coming up. I'm not doing these right away, but before GTA 6 comes out, I do want to get to these, possibly 4, maybe 5. I beat 5 earlier this year. I'm willing to play it again if I have the time for it, but it is a big game and there is a lot of stuff to cover up until that point. So we will see. Definitely going to be playing these in the start of next year just to get a feel. Maybe playing the emulated versions of the originals. I don't know. Either way is not really ideal, but you got to do it somehow, right? Maybe I just buy an original PS2 and get the whole trilogy. I really don't know at this point. Yeah, don't buy this. Okay, next up is going to be a little series called Fallout, and specifically Fallout 4. I have dabbled in Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and probably spent more time in Fallout 76 ultimately. It's a decent game, but Fallout 4 was basically the foundation for Fallout 76, and I've played it a couple times, started it like I do with most games, and I enjoy it. I do think that the recent updates, because I wasn't into modding this game at all really, I do appreciate them to a certain extent. I do think the game looks notably better, especially on PlayStation, and I own this one on PC. I think when I get to it, I might play it on PC. I'm having some issues, but yeah, I don't know. Having this in the collection though is definitely a must. I think it's the only Fallout game that I want on disc for PlayStation or PS4 and PS5, so that works out. Maybe gonna get to this sometime before the summer next year. Who knows though? I can try my best. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see something like this next year. Next up we have another 4. This one is, at least in my opinion, gameplay wise, the best Far Cry to exist. 3 does a lot of great stuff with the story, and I think overall that's more a complete package of a game. But 4 does a lot with the mechanics of 3 and expands upon them. It makes them a little bit more depthy, gives you a little bit more to do, and it wholeheartedly does what 3 does and almost forces you to travel to new areas to discover new animals and plant life in order to unlock necessary upgrades. It's a very natural process, a process that leads you to, figuring out the world for yourself and the creatures that inhabit it. It's a very fun experience. The story is doing a lot more, it's trying a lot harder, and it's not hitting the same as 3 was. I'm only maybe 3 hours, and I'm only 3 hours in because this came out, I picked this up on PlayStation Plus earlier this year, and right after I picked up 3, but unfortunately this hadn't gotten the PS5 update at that point. So while I was playing it, I was stuck at 30 FPS, I was stuck at a low FOV, and the motion blur was atrocious. The combination of all 3 of those things made me want to hurl, but I stuck through it because the gameplay was so good until I couldn't anymore. And at that point I moved to 5. I finished 5. 5 is 5. I don't own it, so I'm not going over it. Let's move on. Next up, we have a gem of a gem. An imperfect 10 out of 10 in my opinion. It's God of War 2018, and I know a lot of people say that this game is overrated, and a lot of other people really love this game, and I'm one of those people that really loves this game. Again, imperfect. It's got some issues, and a lot of those issues are heightened in the sequel. Specifically, there's an area in the first one called Niflheim, I believe, where the Dark Elves live, and I don't like that area. I forget about it most times when I replay through, and then when I get to that area, I kind of just put it down and take a break for a couple days, get back to it, chug through it, and then keep going. It's not a fun part of the game, but it happens early on, and the rest of the game is peak. Sequel was a bit of a letdown in some ways, but ultimately, delivered on a lot of good stuff. So this was the foundation for it, and I love it. Next up, we have the duology. Red Dead Redemption 1 and Red Dead Redemption 2. I picked up Red Dead Redemption 1 when it came out on PS4 because I was really excited. I really enjoyed what I had played from Red Dead Redemption 2. I never finished it, but I played a lot of it, and I really like it, and I do want to finish it. Definitely getting a video on that as soon as I finish 1, though. 1, in my opinion, is kind of a slog. It's a good game, and it does a lot of cool things, especially from the time period it comes from. However, 2 is just such an improvement. It's unbelievable, honestly. It would be like going from Mario 64 to Mario Galaxy, and I mean that. It's a phenomenal upgrade. Again, 1 is not a bad game. It's just really hard to get through when you know that 2 is right there. You never finished it and you kind of want to, but it's been so long since you played that 80-hour playthrough that you kind of want to replay it again, but you don't want to wait 80 hours in order to get to where you were at, so you kind of hop back in and figure out where you were and then hop back out. It's a mess. I just need to restart these, probably 1 to 2 the way they came out. But yeah, great games. We'll definitely get to these, and we'll definitely make videos on them when I do. So yeah, next up, we have another gem of a gem. That is Spider-Man 2018. Again, another imperfect, perfect game, in my opinion. 2018 just does so much right from a gameplay perspective, story perspective, character and character dynamic perspective. It does a lot right, and the costumes, the suits on hand here are immaculate. The DLC was also kind of pretty good, but it was more of just the same. Ultimately, I love 2018. There are no complaints here, and I only wish that the sequel was better. Next up, we have the Soulsborne of the Star Wars universe. That is going to be Jedi Fallen Order. Now, I did finish this game, and the start is really good. The end is really good, and I'd say the middle kind of drags. I don't really like the puzzles. The layouts of some areas is kind of wacky, and I get that some areas that you travel into are temples, ancient temples meant to confuse people who aren't familiar with the area. However, for a game that you have to traverse back and forth through these areas, just not a huge fan of that personally. However, I do think it lands on some pretty important beats. The lightsaber fights, the use of the Force, the way Cal slowly progresses through his journey in the story, I really like it. And although I didn't platinum it, I do want to go back and platinum it before I get to the sequel, which I will be getting physically, and maybe might get some videos on. Leave a like and subscribe. Next up, we have another Star Wars game. Now, this is a Star Wars game that I have not played yet. I don't even think I've put this into my PlayStation yet, but it is Star Wars Squadrons. And some of you may be saying, what are you doing? Put it in right now, play it, because this game has some pretty good reviews and some high recommendations, and I've seen some gameplay and it is a beauty to look at. I just personally, I don't necessarily care for flying in video games in general. Flight Simulator never really appealed to me, and this is kind of that, but just in the Star Wars universe in space. So that was pretty cool. I'm a Star Wars fan at heart. Not as much recently, but I do dip in from time to time just to check out the cool and unique shit, and this is one of the cool and unique shits that they've shitted out, and I'm excited to check it out. But yeah, I got too much dib on my chip right now, so it will come at a later date. Next up, we have a game that you're all going to be very disappointed in me with, The Witcher 3. You'll notice a pattern here with me. I pick games up for 2 to 3 hours, really like them, and then I never get back to them, which causes me to restart. There's something about my attention span that I cannot just sit here and enjoy this game for what it is. Maybe I'm just not ready for it. I have no idea. I have listened to some of the books, which is technically reading. Don't fight me on that. I will win. But I like the lore. I like the character. I like his supporting characters. I like the adventures that they go on. I like the world that's being built. And I really love video games. And this is a video game about all of that. It feels a little janky in some areas. It feels a little unresponsive, I'd say. And maybe that's just the way I play video games. Maybe I do a bit too much button mashing, but I don't know. I have a fondness for this character and for this series, even though I'm not totally tied to it. And I do kind of want to get to the first and second one before I get to this one. But again, those are even more bespoke than this one. This is like the most mainstream game they had made up until this point. And then they made Cyberpunk 2077. Going back and forth between the two, it's really crazy. Like, the amount of diversity that team can put out is crazy. They really don't feel like the same game at all, and that's due to how complete the worlds they build are and how unique their mechanics are between each game. I really appreciate this studio. I just wish I could pay more attention to their games, specifically this one, because it's a must play, especially before 4 comes out. And next up, we're not going to spend any time on this because it's UFC 4. I don't know how this got here. I think I grabbed it from my mom's house. I think it belongs to my brothers. I've never put it into the PlayStation. Probably never will. I don't even really play fighting games. So I've seen some UFC. I kind of like it, but I don't want to play a game about UFC. I'll just pick up Mortal Kombat. And that concludes the PS4 section of this video. I think we're just going to move right into PS5 because this video is already being too long. We'll start off alphabetically, of course. Alan Wake 2 Digital Deluxe Edition. Now, this is a game that I knew I had to pick up as soon as it was announced. I didn't get it on release because one, it wasn't physical, and two, I was in the middle of Alan Wake at the time. I was getting ready to play Control. I just wasn't ready for Alan Wake 2, and honestly, I still don't think I'm ready. I've played quite a bit of this. I am heading towards the end, but it's just very overwhelming. As all Remedy games are, they do a lot with the uneasiness factor, their atmosphere, their design of their world. It's all trying to get you to dread the experience while also finding joy in it. And I've had a hard time finding that balance. It's a very intense game and it's doing a lot. There's a lot to focus on. There's a lot to keep track of. There's a lot to deal with immediate and later on. I, again, need more time with this. I think it's a great game. I don't think it's a bad game at all. I don't think Remedy, as far as all the games I've played, make bad games. I don't think that's possible from them. However, I need to be in a certain mindset to be able to deal with what these games dish out because they are not for the weak. And again, small brain. So yeah, we'll get back to that and we'll probably do a video series on Remedy at some point. But yeah, moving on. This gem. Really the whole reason I started uploading again. Expedition 33. I'm not even going to say anything. Just wait till next week. Leave a like, subscribe, a full review coming out. And if you haven't seen my initial thoughts and impressions, links down below. I love this game. I love this game. Next up is a series that I have not played really at all yet, but really want to get to, but it's just so daunting and you'll understand what I mean when I get there. But this is Final Fantasy 16. Now, when I walked into the store to get this, it was Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake Integrate. And if Final Fantasy 16 was $10, Final Fantasy 7 was $20. You can understand the math. It was $10 to add a PS5 game to my physical collection. I will take that deal 9 times out of 10, even though I want to play Remake before I play this. But there are still so many Final Fantasy games that I want to play before I even get to 7. Remake, I want to play the original first. I want to play 4, 6, maybe 3. I don't think I'm going to go back further than that because they get a little dull and boring, but 4 and 6 is really where the series started for a lot of people, and I don't think I can get to these later games without experiencing that early Final Fantasy feel. And because I don't want to be a poser. I do genuinely want to appreciate this series for all that it has to offer, and starting at 16 just, I don't know, it feels wrong. It feels wrong, but we're going to move on. We have that sequel that I was talking about earlier, God of War Ragnarok. Now, still a great game in many aspects, but more of a sidestep than a step forward or step back. It relies on a lot of its merits from the first game, and I think that holds it back in a lot of ways. They tried to add a jump mechanic, which, say what you want, I don't think it really affects all that much. They added a spear weapon, which is dope. There's a lot of cool things about this game. There's a lot of areas in this game that I really appreciate. There's a lot of side quests and characters and development and story beats that I take a lot of enjoyment in. However, I think one of the biggest things wrong with this game is that they spend too much time on things that don't necessarily progress the plot and too little time on the actual plot. And for that, I know that they wanted to wrap this series up in 2 games, but I really think there was a third game in here. I really think if they spent more time on leading to Ragnarok directly, they could have gotten more mechanics, more varied gameplay from this, and really honed in on that story in the final game, and actually relied on the second game's mechanics to carry it through to the finish line. Again, great game. Made me cry at times. I do think it was a great conclusion to that 2018 story. However, it could have been so much more. And that's kind of the feeling with God of War at this point. It can be so much more, but Sony will just give us a controller. What are you doing? Anyways, we're moving on. These games, I mean, I'll just say it right now. This is going to be the first series that I cover on this channel. Not in whole though, and I'll explain. It's the Resident Evil games. And if you see here, I have 2, 3, and 4, which I just bought today. It's still in its packaging. So, I don't know if you can see that. Still wrapped up. I have played 4. I have played 7. Played a little bit of 8. I played a little bit of 3. But that's about it. I beat 4, I beat 7, and I own 4 on PS5 digitally. However, I wanted to get it for this collection, for this series, because I am going to be covering most of the Resident Evil games, at least all of the modern ones, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, up until 9. I'm going to try and fit 5 and 6 in there. However, I hear those are a bit longer and a bit more of a slog, so we will wait and see. If you have a favorite Resident Evil game that you're excited for me to talk about that I haven't mentioned here, make sure to leave a comment down below. Maybe we can do a quick little impressions video on other Resident Evil games, but I really want to stay consistent and try and get all of these main ones out before 9 comes out. And then maybe after that, we go back and check out some of the older ones. But I think by then I'm going to be a little bit burnt out of Resident Evil, but I am excited for this endeavor. It is going to be fun, and it has been fun collecting these as well. I think I've gotten all of these for under $20. 3 games for like $50, all in separate places. That's a steal. And Resident Evil games, amazing. They're just amazing games. So yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're excited for that. Coming soon. This is our last PS5 game, and this is another sequel that I talked about earlier, or referenced at least. It is Spider-Man 2. I definitely can definitively say that 2018 is better in every way other than the web swinging. And I think Miles Morales has this one beat for story as well. Miles Morales is a shorter game, but it has so much heart and so much energy. Really just hits home with a lot of topics that it tries to tackle, and I love it for that. I love replaying it. Spider-Man 2 is the game that I bought my PlayStation 5 for. I picked up Spider-Man 2 when I picked up my PlayStation 5. This game and the PS5 are going to be synonymous to me forever. It's the reason I own this thing. I don't regret buying it. Not once, but same thing with Ragnarok. It's kind of a letdown. They're trying to do a lot and they're trying really hard at it, but not a lot of it is landing. A lot of it feels forced and unnatural in a lot of ways, unlike the first one, which is strange. I can't really say much more about this without going into a full review, so Maybe next summer before Wolverine comes out, we cover Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then Spider-Man 2. We'll see. Not quite sure yet, but at some point, these games will definitely come back to the channel, and we'll give them a chat. I think now we have some Nintendo games we have to talk about. I do have to preface this part. I sold my Nintendo Switch OLED at the beginning of this year, about a week before the Switch 2 was announced, in order to pay some bills. It was necessary. I wasn't just trading up. That wasn't the case here. I actually needed money and I wasn't using it. Do I regret that? Not really. I don't really see myself using the Switch OLED right now, especially with all the other games that I'm playing on PlayStation, Steam Deck, and PC. I do have a fondness for the Switch. I am going to be getting the Switch 2, not anytime soon, but I did keep some of the games. I did sell most of them, but I did keep some of them that I hold near and dear, and the first one we're going to be talking about is Pokemon Shield. The only reason why this is near and dear to my heart is because it's literally the first full Pokemon game that I ever played. Yeah, I think I got this like 2 weeks before Legends Arceus came out. I was really hyped for that, and I was wondering if I wanted to pick it up, and so I got Shield. And I will say that I actually really enjoyed this when I first picked it up. I couldn't put it down. I think I finished it in like 4 days, at least the main story, which might not be that quick for a lot of people, but for me, in a brand new game with brand new mechanics that I'd never experienced before, at least to this extent, that was a pretty big accomplishment for me. Today though, no, never, quite literally never again. I don't think I'll ever play this one again because it's trash. I bought the DLC, I played the DLC. The DLC is also kind of dookie. Better than the original game, but still kind of dookie. Legends Arceus was so much better than this, and I've since played other Pokemon games like Omega Ruby and I think Fire Red, I believe it was. Both better than this, obviously. It's going to be hard to find one that is worse than this. Gosh, it's just... it sucks because it was my first and I did enjoy it. I just... never again. Okay, this one I will never stop playing. I know the feeling of people who talk about Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time and go, that game I can play forever. Zelda Breath of the Wild is that game for me. Not the sequel. I do own the sequel digitally, but that's not what we're talking about today. This gem here, this beautiful game, basically broke me out of my shell as a gamer back in 2017, 2018. It's when I really started to go, okay, I can put the Call of Duty sticks down and find comfort in other places, in other areas of video games. That was here, that was Spider-Man, that was God of War, and I know those games are probably the most normie games for someone to break out of their shell with, but that was just the case for me back in 2017 and 2018. Really only played Call of Duty, so these games were a big shakeup, and I've completed Zelda Breath of the Wild the most out of any game that I've talked about here. I've probably beat God of War 5 times, I've probably beat Spider-Man 6 times, Zelda easily 7 times, and it's easily going to be 7 more when I get the Switch 2. I'm beelining it for this title. I don't care if Nintendo got me, if they gypped me, if they swindled me. I literally do not care. I just want to experience this game at 60 FPS. And for those on the fringe of the internet who find this video and say, just emulate. No. No. I'm not concerned about any legal trouble at all. No, I don't want to go through that. I've tried it already and it seems more difficult than what you do on the 3DS. And for that reason, no, that's just how it is with this game. I love it too much to really stress myself out about playing it. It is a comfort game, the most comfort game that I've ever played. So yeah, that's not it for Switch titles. We have some more physical. Actually, Pokemon Shield isn't even in the case. Pokemon Shield is in here, but right above it, you want to guess what it is? Give you a little hint. It is Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3. I kept this game because I genuinely love it. Whenever you talk about the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games online, they go, oh, dude, 1 and 2 were great. They don't even mention 3. When you start to mention 3, they go, oh yeah, sucks that was stuck on Switch. And they're right. Unfortunately, they are right. This game ran so poorly that there were certain animations that you would never see because they were so late into the game, and they ran at such a low FPS that you just wouldn't see the animation as intended. I think the Switch 2 clears that up altogether. It doesn't patch it to 60 FPS. It sticks it and locks it at 30. But that's enough for me. I gotta say, I'm really hoping for a 4th by the time I get around to getting the Switch 2 and playing this again. Because honestly, I would like a new experience to come play. But I have such a fondness for this title. Maybe it was because it was back around the time when I didn't really have any other game systems. I didn't have a PlayStation, I didn't have a PC, my phone barely ran games well, so I was stuck with a stinky Switch, and I put nearly 400 hours into this game, and I was still not done. Still not done. A lot of convoluted upgrading, material gathering and whatnot, but once you get in that sweet spot, but is it a sweet spot? Anyways, to round out this list, to round out this video, we're gonna be talking about some Wii games. That's right, we own a Wii. I actually bought a Wii for my partner for her birthday one year, and specifically because she wanted to play Michael Jackson The Experience. Now, the reason that this is so important to me is because I've tried to get this woman into video games for so long. I've hooked her up with Animal Crossing, no. Sims, no. This, she still hasn't opened it. I don't know how to show you that, but like, it's sealed. It's literally sealed. I've seen gameplay of it. It's Just Dance with your hands, basically, and your posture. There really isn't much movement going on here. It's just posing to some really classic music, and I don't think it needed to be much more than that, honestly. Next up, we have Just Dance. Not 1, but 2. 2 Just Dance 3s. Why we bought 2, no clue. Maybe we thought we didn't have this one yet, even though it's the only one we have. I don't know why I paid $10 for it and then $7 for it. I don't know. If anybody wants a copy of Just Dance 3 for the Wii, hit me up, because I'm stacked. I don't really have much to say about this game. We don't really play the Wii. We just kind of like it when, if the occasion arises, but Just Dance 3, got 2 of them for some reason. This one's a little bit personal for me, a little personal item to add to my collection. This is Xenoblade Chronicles. Although I am happy that I have this physically, I'm probably not going to play it on the Wii. Long story short, the Wii ran at like 480p, and this is the TV we have. This is a 4K 65-inch TV. To blow up a 480p image on here, it's atrocious. It's ugly. It's bad. Don't do it. If we ever get a CRTV in the house, I'll pop this one in. But ultimately, I have tried it out on 3DS, and you know what? It's not bad over there. It definitely runs at a lower resolution and lower frame rate, but it's a smaller screen and it's portable. I appreciate that. So probably never going to play this on Wii. Might actually pick it up on Switch, along with the other games, because I am genuinely interested in the story being told, the lore, the fucking giants that you live on, the crazy red sword, and it's a beautiful game, but not on Wii. So yeah, we have it in the collection, but we'll probably never play it on this platform. And yeah, Holy shit, that's it. That is my entire physical video game collection, barring the 3DS games upstairs. I am happy to be at the end of this video. I'm happy to be sharing my collection with you guys, and hopefully by around this time next year, I can make this video again and have an even larger collection. So if you want to see me pick anything up or add anything to this, make sure to comment down below. If you are excited for any future videos that I talked about or want to see any videos that I haven't talked about, comment down below and leave a like if you enjoyed. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. The support for this brand new channel that I'm uploading on is crazy. We're not blowing up, obviously, that's not the intention, but I'm getting people watching, I'm getting people interacting and commenting. That's cool. I fucking love that from you guys. And I can really only ask for one thing in return, and that is for you to have an amazing day. Peace.